the first stage. By this time, Christiana had gotten underway on her journey along with her children, and Mercy went along with them also. "And, Mercy," Christiana said, "I take this as an unexpected favour that you should set forth like this to accompany me a little in the way." Young Mercy smiled, for she was but a young maid. "If I thought it would lead to anything of good consequence to go along with you, I would never go near the town again." "Well, Mercy," Christiana said, "join with me, for I know well what awaits at the end of our pilgrimage. My husband is in a place where he would not be, even if he had all the gold in the Spanish mines. And you won't be rejected either, for you go upon my invitation. The king who has sent for me and my children delights in mercy. Besides, if you are willing, I will hire you, and you shall come with me as my servant. Yet we will have all things in common between you and me. Just come along with me." Lines of thought marked Mercy's young brow. "But how shall I be certain that I would also be received with hospitality? If I had such a hope as this, but from one with authority, I wouldn't hesitate at all. I would go, being helped by him who can help, even though the way is ever so wearisome." "Well, my dear loving Mercy," Christiana said, "I'll tell you what you should do. Go with me to the Wicket Gate, and there I will further ask for you. If you do not receive encouragement to continue with me on pilgrimage, I will be content for you to return to your home. I will also pay you for the kindness which you have shown to me and my children by coming with us and supporting us in the way you have." Mercy clasped her hands beneath her chin and said, "Then I shall go to the Wicket Gate and will accept what comes next. May the Lord grant that my portion fall there, and that the King of Heaven shall have his affections upon me." Christiana's face beamed with gladness, not only because she had a travelling companion, but also because she had succeeded in making this poor maid fall in love with her own salvation. So they went on together, and Mercy began to weep. Christiana looked at her friend and asked, "Why are you weeping like this, my sister?" "I can't help it," Mercy said. "I am compelled to cry and weep when I consider what a state and condition my poor relatives and friends are in. You know, the ones who remain behind in our sinful town. What makes my sorrow and regret all the more heavy is that they have no instructor or anyone to tell them what is to come." "Compassion becomes pilgrims," Christiana said. "And you weep for your family and friends, as my good Christian did for me. When he left me, he grieved and wept, because I would not listen to him or pay attention. I treated him as if what he had to say was of no interest. But his Lord of ours gathered up his tears and put them into his bottle, and now you and I, plus my sweet children, are reaping the fruit and benefit of them. I hope, Mercy, that these tears of yours will not be lost, for the truth has said that those who sow in tears shall reap with joyful shouting. He who goes to and fro weeping, carrying his bag of seed, shall indeed come again with a shout of joy, bringing his sheaves with him." Psalm 126, verses 5 to 6. Then Mercy said, "Let the most blessed be my guide, if it be his will, unto his gate, into his fold, and up to his holy hill. And let him never allow me to turn aside or veer from his free grace and holy ways, whatever I suffer. And let him gather those of mine whom I have left behind. Lord, please make them thine with all their heart and mind." Now my old friend continued with the tale of Christiana's pilgrimage, and said that when she came to the Slough of Despond, she slowed and came to a stop. "For," she said, "this is the place in which my dear husband was almost smothered with mud." Nevertheless, she also recognized the command of the king to make this place good for pilgrims, and yet it was worse than before. So I asked if that was true. "Yes," said the old gentleman, "too true. For many pretend to be the king's workers, and say they are for restoring the king's highways, but they bring dirt and dung instead of stones, and as a result cause more damage rather than repair. Therefore it was here at the Slough of Despond where Christiana and her boys came to a stop. But Mercy said, "Come, let us risk going forward, but let us be cautious." Then they looked carefully where they stepped, and shifted their path, and reeled from one side to the other with doubt. The experience left Christiana feeling like she had been mired in the slough more than once or twice, but eventually they did cross over. They had no sooner reached the other side when they thought they heard someone say, "Blessed is she who believed that there would be a fulfillment of what had been spoken to her by the Lord." Luke chapter 1, verse 45. Hearing these words, they continued on their way, and Mercy said to Christiana, "If I had as good a cause to hope for a loving reception at the Wicket Gate as you, I don't think any Slough of Despond would be able to discourage me." "Well," said Christiana, "you know your affliction, and I know mine." She placed her hand on Mercy's shoulder. "We shall all have enough misfortune before we reach our journey's end, my good friend. For can you imagine people like us, who plan to reach such excellent glories as we do, and who are subject to envy because of the happiness we have without enemies who hate us? They will assault us with fears and snares, and with troubles and afflictions. And now Mr. Sagacity left me to dream out my dream by myself. Therefore it seemed to me that I saw Christiana, Mercy, and the boys all go up to the gate. When they came to it, they entered into a short debate about how they should conduct their affairs when calling at the gate. For instance, they discussed what should be said to the one who opened the gate, and who should do the talking. So they concluded, since Christiana was the eldest, that she should be the one to knock for entrance, and that she should also speak for the rest of them to the man that opened the gate.